Arise and shine. It's a beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning. Thank you for joining us again on Lumen Morning Diary. My name is Alice Lungu alongside General Piri. General, good morning.
Good morning, Alice. Indeed, it's a beautiful morning.
Yes, it's always important to start the day with a smile and happiness, of course.
Yeah, joy comes in the morning. And you missed out something. Did you start your day with a prayer?
It's always important to start with the Lord. Commit all your plans and you will succeed. That's what the Bible says.
Exactly.
It's always important. I hope even you, our dear viewers, you've started your morning with a prayer. Journey with us as we've got exciting things today. We'll look at, as usual, what's trending, even we'll say what's trending even in the newspaper picks, the health segment, and also, which is important,
the food for the soul.
Yes, very important.
You know that's my favorite of them all. I always say that. In as much as you guys think I love the sports segment more than I love the food for the soul. You know, being fed. You're so being fed by the word of God is extremely important.
Of course.
And you know one funny thing is, do you guys realize why in the rain season but there's no rain? It's so hot that I'm wondering, are we going to have a heavy flow of rains this year?
We, like I always emphasize, that it's only God's intervention, like, this... the rainy season, there's just this climate change. We don't know. It's only God that can. You and I cannot predict.
Exactly.
It's only Him alone who happens to be the creator of the rains.
Exactly.
Yes. So, as we are known to be a Christian nation, we just pray to God
that things work out.
Yes, things work out. Generally, today we are looking at raising responsible families. This is actually close to the topic that we had last week, which is...
it's just like a continuation.
A continuation, yes, which is raising responsible youths. We had looked at that, and we had a guest who really enlightened more about raising responsible youths. It starts with you and I. They say charity begins at home. For a youth to be responsible, definitely it has to start from home. And today we are looking at
the charity.
Yes, that charity where it begins, raising responsible families. We would also want to hear from you, our dear viewers. What is your take on this today? Are we raising responsible families, or are we because we are the family, are we responsible enough for somebody to look up to us and say, okay, that one inspires me, that one motivates me? That is our topic today. So it's open. We want to hear from you, our dear viewers. What are you saying about it? Raising a responsible families. My opinions
So you can simply call us on the numbers scrolling on the screen, or you can write us a message on our Facebook page. We want to hear from you. Therefore, are you really raising responsible families?
Oh, yes. General, we want to hear from our dear viewers. And, I love this good news that we are countrywide. Everyone is watching us around Zambia. We are saying good morning from the north part to the south part, east and west.
Muributi,
Muzuwile. Hope that I pronounced that.
Exactly.
We are learning. We'll keep on interacting. Yes, General. We start with the newspaper picks, then we go to what's trending.
Okay. So I'll start with the mass newspaper. Separate criminality from persecution. This is not about tribes. Let no one past or present escape the law if they have stolen from Zambian people. Ikaile. This story is found on page 2 in the mass newspaper.
Okay, and our Zambia Daily Mail says, the headline says, HH Health Institute of Directors. President Hakainde Hichilema has praised the Institute of Directors Zambia for promoting transparency and good corporate governance in the country. This story is also found on page 3 of the Zambia Daily newspaper.
We have another story making headlines in the mass newspaper. Zambia elected UNICETRO member. Zambia has been elected as a member of the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law during elections held at the UN headquarters on Wednesday. This story is found on page 7 in the mass newspaper.
Okay. Then there is also this headline that says ex-ACC boss being probed over 2.3 million kwacha. Former Anti-Corruption Commission ACC Commissioner Henry Mbushi is being investigated over alleged money laundering involving 2.3 million kwacha. Then there's also the story that has actually touched me. Mom reunites with boy trafficked year ago. After 13 months of being away from its mother, a 20-month-old boy who was trafficked into Mozambique has been retrieved following persistent efforts by authorities in 2 countries. Wow, that is good news.
It's good news in as much as it gives a sad reading.
Yes.
It actually brings light knowing that they have been reunited.
Yeah. Wow. I can only imagine how the mother felt like, being away from such a young child.
It's all God's work,
Yes.
God's doing, because, looking at the months of the baby.
Yes. And the months that the child has been away. But all in all, we thank God that the baby has been found and back in the mother's arms. Yes, what is trending, Genera?
A lot of things have been trending of late. We have so many stories that are making headlines on social media and in our communities. We still have the cooler box, the code box, that's still on the move. The new normal of load shading. But I came across this story yesterday of this widow that was beaten up by his late wife's family, suspecting him of being the one that bewitched his wife.
I also read it. I was shocked, General, really, when I came across the story as well. Like, where you ask yourself, is this thing truly happening? Like, I thought if even Vakudala, where people would accuse one another of witchcraft, where in a situation when one is sick, you accuse one another of witchcraft. I don't know, like it's happening in our country, and it's happening right here in Lusaka. It's really sad, eh?
Yeah, very, very sad. And looking at the age, I feel these people have even been married for a long time, so why should...
For so many years, yes, looking at the age, which is 65.
Yeah, the man is actually 65.
Yes. Obviously, like you've said, Genera, they could have been married for so many years, and I don't know why people would reach to this extreme of accusing
and beating up someone during the funeral, because it was... During the funeral, they didn't even let him mourn his late wife properly.
Yeah, I can just imagine. I hope the authorities actually do something about this situation and just let the man mourn the wife. The other story, really, Genera, that touched me is I have forgotten the place. I don't know if you also came across it, of a child that was burnt in the house. I don't know. Yes.
Yeah, I did come across that story.
Yes.
You know, it's very sad to lose lives like that. I don't know. And if you've noticed, this year we've had so many cases of such that people are actually perishing because of fire.
Yes, yes. And we've also had, we've heard of stories where, you know, a house caught fire. Like, is it this month where the parish house in Makeni?
Yeah, it's this month.
Yes, a parish house in Makeni caught fire. Is it Joseph Mukasa, if not mistaken, had caught on fire, which is also a sad situation that we get to hear of such incidents. I don't know what really happens. Maybe is it, I don't know, negligence, negligence or what, we don't know for sure, but we've heard of stories around here.
Yeah, and talking about negligence, I came across this story of a young boy that has, is it boy or girl, that lost their because of the negligence of the nurses.
No.
Too bad I don't really have full information about this, so this is where I'll just end.
That makes a sad reading in anyway. We know we've got a lot of many stories about what's trending. You, as our dear viewers, can also share with us the stories that you hear about and you would love us to share them. You are free to contact the number that is scrolling on the screen. You are still watching Lumen Morning Diary. For now, we go on a short break. We'll be right back. Don't change the channel.
One, two, mic testing, 1, 2. Ono mwaka tulesevya makumi ya sanu efitenti ono Afrika lesa weso fomfo mwina mupashiyobe pafitente vyonse. I am Father Mwansa Andrew from the Archdiocese of Kasama. Currently I'm working for St. Charles Luanga Matiba Parish in Chilobi mainland. I'm here at Lumen TV recording studio. I've just come to record my songs that I want to release as an album. First of all, I've just recorded 3 songs. The first one is talking about being active in our small Christian communities. My encouragement to those who may want to record their songs out there, it's an invitation that you come here to Lumen TV recording studio. It's a right studio, and I've really enjoyed. I've found people who are so good and welcoming. And they have good instruments and machines to use. So as I'm speaking, you can see I'm from recording the song. It's very nice to be here, and I'm glad for having this opportunity of recording my songs from this studio. I'm encouraging and inviting everyone who may want to record the songs to come here at Lumen TV recording studio. Thank you so much.
Well, welcome back. In case you're joining us, you're on Lumen Morning Diary, and our topic of today is raising responsible families. Right about now, we've been joined by Mr. Jeremiah in our health segment. Good morning, Mr. Jeremiah.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. Yeah. Yes, today we are looking at, we are living in a generation where we've seen a lot of young people taking excessive alcohol. It's really a such situation such that, I don't know if you've come across this where people are saying Zambian women are also drinking, like, I don't know. Today looking at this topic, really, it's something that is, I would say, to educate one another about this, because people are making it's a normal thing. If you don't take alcohol, you are left behind. Before we proceed into the questions, kindly share your full names, please. I'm so eager about this topic. I really want to learn more and just to educate the viewers out there.
Yeah, thank you so much. My full name is Lubumbe Jeremiah Mulanda.
Okay.
I am a youth ambassador with the Coalition Against Illicit Alcohol, which is a coalition that brings together all the necessary stakeholders to ensure that we put a stop to illicit alcohol. And I know that we'll speak much more as we continue with the conversation.
Oh yes, please.
So what is the cause for young people's excessive drinking of alcohol today? What are the reasons? Why are people drinking excessive alcohol?
Well, the reasons are many, depending on the context, depending on where you are found. But some of the common causes that we find are peer pressure. So young people are being pressured to drink alcohol by their friends without even understanding the repercussions, the consequences of taking alcohol. And others include stress. We live in a very high pressure world where young people are facing all sorts of pressure, including school pressure, relationship pressures, home pressures, work pressure, you name it. Pressure comes from all angles. And because of that pressure, others feel that it's normal to just, go and take a bottle or two until it becomes a coping mechanism. So every time you feel stressed, instead of you, coping in a better way to maybe take a walk or listen to music or do something else, you tend to drink alcohol. Some also include, financial constraints, because we live in a world where, finding money now is very, very hard. So many young people tend to just want to abuse drugs. They tend to just, want to drink alcohol illicitly. And many other reasons as well, like you mentioned earlier, a lack of proper education. We don't have so many programs like these where we come and openly speak about, the ills of alcohol. So many young people just don't know, right? They feel like alcohol is just fun, and then before they know it, it becomes an addiction and they keep drinking and drinking and drinking.
Okay, I agree with you with the points that you said. We have less activities. Looking at our last week's topic was saying raising responsible youths. So we had mentioned to say it's because as a country we don't really have skills that other people can do. We're not being taught in schools the skills that we can do in case school fails us. So I think that's the reason why people feel alcohol is the solution.
And one thing I've also come across is that there's this saying where nikamwamova, I'll feel better, like all my problems will just be like they will shun away, not forgetting as soon as you come back to reality, you still find the problems. This peer pressure of people instituting this in you, saying it's fine for you to drink beer, it's okay, I can drink beer, like it's a common thing. The other thing that I would love to find out, Jeremiah, is that what impact does the rising numbers of illicit alcohol have on our country's social and economic stability?
That's a very, very important question. And a few years back, there was a study that was conducted, and I think you saw some of the statistics.
Yes,
that Zambia was one of the countries that were consuming, loads and loads of alcohol worldwide. And when we do that as a country, and because our population is very, very young, there are low levels of productivity.
Exactly.
And I think you can see that when you walk around some of these streets, like early morning as I was coming here, I'm meeting young people who are drunk. And I'm thinking, if at 8 a.m. in the morning you are drunk, what time are you going to go to work? What time are you going to do anything? So there's high levels of loss of productivity. Others include health problems, because remember, even on the bottle itself, they say alcohol is harmful to your health.
Exactly.
Right? So it causes so many health problems, and because of those health problems, it then puts an impact on our health systems, right? So now we have so many people flocking to hospitals. We have so many people on medication. We have so many people who are just going through different health issues. Among others also is that alcohol then contributes to crime, right? If people abuse more and more alcohol, you realize that crime levels also increase, because the thing about alcohol is you are sort of trapped in a certain kind of like dimension, like you are in another world. You just want to keep abusing, you just want to keep drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking. And when you don't have that money to go and purchase the alcohol, you do anything it takes. You pickpocket, you steal, you sell a TV, you sell anything just so that, you can drink. But also, there's the social and the economic, aspect to this. I think you have interacted with someone who has taken alcohol before, and it's very, very hard. You can't reason with such a person, right? I know we've gotten on buses before where the conductor has taken some alcohol, and then maybe you're asking for your change. You can't have a normal conversation. You can't reason with them. So there's that society, there's that social aspect as well that is detrimental. And we are social beings. We thrive off interacting amongst each other like we are doing. Imagine if I came here and I drank alcohol. Would I be responding to the questions the way I am right now?
No, you wouldn't.
So that's the impact that alcohol has. And overall, it has an impact deeply on the mental health of a person, because you're unable to reason properly. And these are some of the cases that we are seeing of mental health issues rising amongst, young people, because they are abusing these drugs too much to a point where it becomes like it's your life. Like you can't stay without drinking alcohol. So those are some of the impacts, that we are continuing to see. But also is in general, is that it just disrupts the community. People who abuse drug tend to just cause commotion everywhere they go. It can be by the way they are doing things, by their speech. You can't even leave them around kids because you don't know what they can do. They can't, reason properly. So generally, illicit alcohol in this regard has devastating consequences, devastating impact on the community. And that is why, as the Coalition Against Illicit Alcohol, we are coming together to say we need to put a stop to this.
It's so sad. Like you mentioned, while you are coming here, you meet people already drunk at 8 a.m. These taverns that we have and shabings, for nightclubs, they open very late. But for these other places, you'll find, I've noticed when I'm going home, there's a place where we have some taverns. You think it closed, but you'd hear voices. People are busy taking the kachasu, the, what do you call that? I don't know, whatever.
That's funny names.
Yes, something like that. You can't really reason with those people. You find mothers have left their homes without sweeping, without tending to their kids. As a result, you can't even raise a responsible family. Okay, so how could you describe your work as a young people in the Coalition Against Illicit Alcohol, and what is your role?
Thank you so much for that question. Even before I answer that question, I wanted to respond to what you have mentioned. There's been a rampant rise in the number of shabins, in the number of these small drinking places that we have seen. And it's the responsibility of the local council, to ensure that these places close down, because they are not even supposed to be operating. Here in our country, we have a Public Health Act, which ensures that for you to operate a bar, there are operating hours. by the way. A bar is not supposed to operate the whole night like we see happening in our communities. Even a nightclub can't open during the day. There's a stipulated time which is clear, but there should be adherence. And when these bars and nightclubs do not adhere to what our laws say, they should be closed down with immediate effect.
Oh, yes.
Because these are having a negative impact on the young people. So I'm calling on the local authorities to ensure that they begin to do what they are mandated to do, which is closing down these places. And as a coalition, we want to work with them because we realize that when they close down those places, mothers will go and tend to their kids. Kids will go and do chores at home. Fathers will be with their kids. They'll go and look for money. But rather, to respond to your question, my work as a youth ambassador in this coalition involves raising awareness like I'm doing right now. We realize that there are not so many young people who are speaking about these issues right now. So mine is to come on platforms like this and many others to advocate for, young people not abusing drugs, to raise awareness. So that's one thing. Another is to advocate for stricter regulations. So working in collaboration with the local councils to ensure that we are strict on these regulations so that young people do not find themselves. Let us close these places down. If it is a nightclub, let it operate in the stipulated hours. Exactly. If it is a bar, let it operate in the stipulated hours. If they don't have, the necessary, certificate to operate, I want to believe that even a TV station like this one has certification to operate.
Yes.
If you don't, you are closed down. So let's have the same thing with these shadows, with whatever they are called. Another one is also, I speak on a regular basis with young people, just encouraging them to make healthier choices and encouraging those who are addicted to alcohol that you can find a way out. It is not impossible. And I know that there are so many young people who think, no, I'm just gone, there's nothing. We have living testimony of people who were addicted to alcohol for years and years, but they decided to say, you know what, enough is enough. They went and got services, the necessary services, and they are a living testimony that this is possible. Yes. So I also provide referrals to young people who want to seek interventions that will help them refrain from illicit alcohol.
Okay. We've also seen not only young people, it's really a sad situation where you get to see even mothers, even just our dear sisters looking at it in a situation where they are totally drunk. And you can just imagine as a mother, you reach to that extent of taking alcohol excessively. What do you teach your children? Like, how would you control your home? It's really a sad situation. And the other thing that we want to find out, Jeremiah, is what is your encouragement to fellow young people who are struggling with alcohol, and how can those who would want to be part of this collusion find you?
Thank you so much. Which camera am I looking at? Is it this one or that one? I want to look straight into the camera for this one. And this message goes to the young people, right? If you are struggling with alcohol abuse, if this is an addiction for you, there is a way out. That is one thing that you're supposed to know first. There is a way out, and it is possible for you to stop abusing alcohol. The first thing is for you to convince yourself that it is possible, right? I'm a firm believer in faith, right? I'm a Christian. I believe that faith makes things happen, right? If you believe that something is possible, it will most definitely happen. So if you believe and you have a strong will, a strong conviction to want to stop abusing alcohol, you will stop abusing alcohol. Then seek the right interventions. Visit a health facility. Health facilities have psychosocial counselors who can help you with addictions. There are so many support services that exist. Speak to a friend, speak to a colleague, speak to a parent, speak to someone about this. This is not something to be ashamed of, because that's one thing I realize, that so many young people out there who are abusing drugs do not come into the open and say, this is what I am going through, right? They feel very ashamed. But come into the open and speak about these issues. That is the only way that we can enhance this fight against, illicit alcohol. And then for many other young people who want, to join the coalition, they can find us on our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Send us a message, let us know which part of the country you're on, because we want this coalition to be all over our country so that we can work together to ensure that we fight illicit alcohol. And you notice in our name, we say illicit alcohol, right? This is alcohol that is unregulated. We have alcohol from registered companies like the Zambian breweries and many others. Those are companies that are registered and adhere to the law, by the way, right? And they ensure that they are also regulated in the amount of alcohol that they are producing. They are answerable to the law. But these other illicit alcohol places, there's unregulation that happens. You don't even know if the alcohol that is being produced is in a sanitary condition. We've seen some pictures of just drums that are very dirty and they're making alcohol from there.
Yes.
So that is what we want to put a stop again, to ensure that young people do not go to those places and young people begin to positively, impact this country's economic growth, because that is what we want to do, and subsequently economic development.
Yeah, just to add on, fuse in what you're actually saying about the illicit alcohol. Is it early this year? We saw a lot of people losing their lives because of drinking the same illicit alcohol. I don't know, is it in Mazabuka, the southern province, where people took that illicit alcohol that was being made by, is it shoe polish?
Yes.
We've also heard of cases in the eastern province where people are actually using, they are putting, is it a spirit?
Yeah, spirit. The others put fertilizer
in the alcohol, which is very harmful to your health.
Now imagine
as a human
putting
being,
spirit in your body and fertilizer in your body. Imagine inhaling such things, just taking such things in your system. What does it do to your internal organs and your functionality as a human being?
Wow. Well, Jeremiah, thank you so much for sharing this important information about illicit alcohol and the fight against illicit alcohol among youths in Zambia. But before we release you, with today's topic, we are looking at raising responsible families. What did you say about it? Are we raising responsible families when you look at it in Zambia?
Well, I think that there's so much work that needs to be done. I feel like we have diverted from, I always tell my friends and colleagues that I wish I was born back in the day, because I think that things were so much better. With technological advancements, cultural adoption, we sort of throw away our culture now and adopt cultures from the West, which have an impact on how we raise our families. For example, in so many families right now, we have absent mothers, absent fathers, single-headed homes are now on the rise. People think it's very okay to just, divorce even after getting married without thinking about the kids. But I think that there's still hope for Zambia, right? We need to get back to our roots. We need to get back to the basics and understand that the foundation of any community, the foundation of any institution is family.
Of course.
Right? The most important thing is family.
Exactly.
And family is not, it's not a blood relation. It's the bond that you have with people. And how do you form this bond? It's by sitting down and having such conversations. It's by sitting down as a family every now and then to share a meal, to share a laugh, to talk about issues, which is something that we are not seeing these days happen. The father will have lunch somewhere else, the mother is having lunch somewhere else, the kids are having lunch somewhere else, which is okay because we are living in a globalized world, and maybe the kids are at school, the father is at work, and all of that. But it's important to find time as a family to sit down and speak about issues, to build that cohesion, as a family. So I think that there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. The danger also is that my generation thinks that's okay, right? Like it's okay for you to not speak to your husband, right? Like it's okay for you to, your husband sleeps in another room and you sleep in another room. Like it's okay for you to, but like that's not okay.
And sorry, just to add, you've actually reminded me of something. Like, okay, one thing that I've also observed about families nowadays, it's okay for you to be on the phone all the time.
Imagine.
Instead of drawing attention from one another. Like there's just this time that the kids are on the phone, the mother is on the phone, the father is on the phone, even you're having dinner, the other person is busy pressing the phone, which is a sad situation.
No, I do agree with you. I mean, with technological advancements, you expect that such things are going to come, but now this is where that you come in to regulate as a family, right? When it's time for us to sit at the table, no one is going to be with their phone. So put your phone aside. Whatever messages are coming and anything, you will find them later. If it's this 1 hour that we've dedicated, we're all going to sit, no screen time, and we are just going to speak as a family, right? Regulation also with, social media platforms for young people is very important to, revitalize that family being within us, right? We are seeing so many young people on social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram, and then issues that they are supposed to be discussing in their home, they are bringing them to TikTok and Instagram. But you're like, why did you speak to your mom about this? Why are you telling us about this? And people on social media really don't care about you. That's
and you have different views and different comments from people. Others will either advise you positively, others will actually advise you negatively.
That's the thing. But you can always trust your family. You can always trust your parents. And this is what, even in the coalition, our co-chairs, Dr. Kalila and Professor Miriam Sidibe, always emphasize that it's important for us to come together as a society, to come together as a family, to fight anything, because two heads is better than one. Now imagine if we all held our hands together and said, guys, let us put an end to illicit alcohol. We can most definitely.
Well, Jeremiah, it's been a pleasure having you on Lumen Morning Diary.
Thank you so much.
We hope to see you again.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, you are still watching Lumen Morning Diary. For now, we go on a short break. Don't change the channel. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Roma Parish Academy, a Catholic school dedicated to transforming the mind of the child into a productive individual. Guided by our motto, excellence through faith and hard work, we empower students to reach their full potential. Our qualified teaching staff, registered with the Teaching Council of Zambia, provide exceptional guidance and support. In an excellent environment conducive for learning, your child will discover their passions and talents. And with affordable fees and flexible payment plan, quality education is within reach. At Roma Parish Academy, we nurture minds, transform lives, and shape the future. Join our community today. Contact us on 0761 583 648 or 0776 104 332. Visit our Facebook page, Roma Parish Academy, St. Stephen. Roma Parish Academy, excellence through faith and hard work. Transforming minds one child at a time.
Well, welcome back. It's time for you and I to be fed by the food for the soul by Father Arthur. Good morning, Father.
Good morning, General.
Good morning, Father.
Good morning, Alice.
Father, it's time for you to feed us with the food for the soul. Our souls are so hungry right now.
Yeah, so today I thought we could just talk about leadership and family. Okay. When we talk about leadership, many times we want to think of the bosses at work. We want to think of the member of parliament.
Exactly.
Yeah, the councillor and so on and so forth. But if you think about it seriously, you realize that actually we are all leaders. We are all leaders, and we are leaders made by our own families. And our mode of leadership, or is it our way of leadership, is largely dependent on what we have or what our families have given us. Yeah. If we are selfless leaders, means that is what we've gotten from our families. If we are selfish leaders, it means that is what we have gotten from our families. Now, what do we mean by we are all leaders? Whether we like it or not, there's always somebody that is looking up to us. There's somebody that secretly or indirectly is following our footsteps.
Oh, yes.
And the question that we ask ourselves, or that we should ask ourselves, is where are we leading that person? Where am I leading that person that is stepping in my footprints or following my footsteps? At home, if you are firstborn, certainly you have a whole bunch of siblings behind that are looking up to you, you know, and that impresses upon you a very huge responsibility. That whatever you do becomes in a way, especially for kids, it becomes a gospel truth. It becomes the way things should be done. So if you are doing the wrong thing, that is what the kids in the home think that is how things should be done. So whatever you do has to show leadership. Okay. Why do we want to talk about leadership in this manner? I want to reflect on the leadership of Christ, so that our way of being leaders is guided and motivated by the way of being a leader of Christ. Christ is a leader, and of course tomorrow we are celebrating Christ the King. Yeah, and when we celebrate that feast, we are talking about the leadership of service, the leadership of sacrifice, the leadership that has no territory. Is the universal leadership. Now, want to liken our way of being leader to that leadership of Christ. If we talked about family, if you are a leader at the family level, you could be a firstborn, could be a parent, you could be whatever you are. But as long as you have somebody behind you that is looking up to you, you are definitely a leader. After whose leadership are you doing what you are doing? Is it after the leadership of Christ, or after the leadership of yourself, or somebody else, or something else? As Christians, what we believe is that whatever we do or have to do should be guided by what Christ has given us. And that is why it is very important at family level to inculcate in those that are in that family the values of Christ, so that their activities are also guided by those values that that they get from the family. If the family is grounded just on wealth, if the family is grounded just on anything else rather than something godly, or rather than Christ, then that is what we are going to give to the members of the family, such that when they go out now to mingle with other people in society, they will feel and think that their way of life or their way of being leader should just be guided, for example, by wealth. As a leader, I need to have an allowance. As a leader, I need to have some kind of an earning from what I'm doing. If I'm leader at church, I'm chairperson in the Smoke Sun community, it means that somehow I have to benefit from the Smoke Sun community, because that is what I got from my family. The way of doing things from back home was based on money, on wealth. Yeah, and that is what is motivating also my way of being leader. So what we want is to take after the leadership of Christ, which is the leadership of service, of sacrifice, of dying a little to yourself so that others may live. The leadership that requires that we reduce ourselves in order that other people could be magnified, could be brought in the limelight. Not because I'm leader, therefore I should be the one in the limelight. I should be the one doing this. I should be the one doing that. So the leadership of Christ is teaching us to make ourselves small, to make ourselves little, and to let our works speak for us. And that is the only way that we're also going to inspire others towards proper leadership. Of course, when you talk about leadership, you can't avoid talking about political leadership, because it is very important to us. You can't avoid talking about even church leadership, because it is also very important to us. But we can also talk about leadership at an individual level, at a personal level. If you have a whole bunch of people behind you, looking up to you, following your footsteps, and etc., where are you leading them? How are you going about your activities of leadership? So, in a nutshell, what we get from our families is important, because it shapes us. it makes us what we eventually become. And that is why it is important for the families to have very strong values of leadership and the strong values of many other areas of life, so that when we release our members of the family into now society, what they take with them into society is something of value, because that is what we have given them, and that is how we want them to behave when they go out there. And when everybody begins to praise them, to say, yes, this is good, this is nice, what eventually they are praising is the family where we come from. In fact, in the rural setups, they will even ask, which family does this one come from? Yeah, even when you're misbehaving, those are the questions that they ask.
Exactly, true.
Who's your father? Who's your mother? Yeah, because we even from our own just African setup and worldview, we do believe that the behavior that we see in people out there in society did not just fall from heaven or from nowhere, from the blues. It is something that they inculcated while they were still mingling with other members of the family. That is what they got from their families. So leadership of every form, whether formal, informal, individual, personal leadership, and so on, has to be motivated by the leadership of Christ, which is the leadership of sacrifice, service, of selflessness, etc., etc. Those values have to be strong in our way of doing.
Wow. Indeed, it's true. As a leader, you need to put in a lot of effort and sacrifices. You don't need to say, oh, I need to benefit in this way or another. You still have the benefits. The people that you are leading, once they're being praised of them being good people in society, those are actually benefits from you.
Just to add on further, I think we are all leaders in one way or the other, but little do we know that we are leaders. I believe we are leaders in one way or the other, because like you said, Father, earlier on, you said there are people that look up to us. Sometimes we don't even know that there is somebody that looks up to you. So even in our way of life, in the way that we do and handle things, we should be considerate to say, okay, I'm a leader. I should do things considering there's somebody that looks up to me. There's somebody that I need to inspire. There's somebody that I need to motivate. I would say, yes, let us live our lives as leaders.
Yeah. I was just thinking also about especially these we call social media influencers.
Yeah.
Those social media influencers are leaders.
Yes.
Okay? They are leaders in what sense? Because they are influencing somebody. They are influencing somebody.
Sure.
So every time they wake up and they pick up their phones to post something on social media, the question that they should ask themselves is, what I'm about to post, is it going to lead somebody, or is it going to influence somebody in a right way, or in a positive manner, or it is just something that is, because we do have some social media influencers that we can even refer to as influencers, because
exactly.
I don't know if that word exists. Influencers, because they just wake up and they pick up their phone and they'll post whatever they want to post. And you as a consumer of that content will be like, wow, okay, maybe I shouldn't look at this twice. So whether we like it or not, on social media, off social media, there is always somebody that is looking up to us, somebody that we are inspiring one or another. And the question that before we step out to mingle with people, before we step out to post anything even on social media, the question that should run in our minds is, am I leading? Am I influencing somebody in the positive manner? Am I inspiring? Am I helping somebody to come to the right path? Those questions are important, because they reflect what kind of leaders we are trying to be, or we are.
Well, Father, thank you very much for this. I'm sure we're all going to be right leaders, and we'll actually put it in mind that, we're influencing other people that look up to us.
Yes.
Now, Father, pertaining to our topic of discussion today, which is raising responsible families. are we really? Yeah, you know, it's like Father and us speak in spirit. You know, we're always having the same topics in mind.
Yeah.
Are we actually raising responsible families? Just like in your sermon, I quoted something that you said. Wherever we go, people will always ask, "Ujamwana ni anachoka kubanja kuti? Ujamwana ni waku family kuti?" So, are we raising responsible families?
I don't know. What do you think? Are we raising responsible families? Sometimes we can say yes, sometimes we can say no. It depends. Yeah, but maybe we can say we should raise responsible families. Yeah, whether we are actually doing that, maybe parents can answer for themselves. Parents and guardians, because those are the principal leaders in families.
Yeah.
Just to respond to your question, I can say we should, or instead of yes we are or yes we are not, but we should raise responsible families. I think last week we talked about raising responsible youths. Yeah, but I guess this time around we are looking at it from like a larger perspective.
Yes,
the family in general. Are we raising a responsible family? We should raise a responsible family, because if a family is a small cell of society. The family is what makes society. It is what makes the compound we live in. It is what makes our community. So if the family is misguided or is disoriented in the way it is being raised by those that have principal responsibilities there, then that also spills over into society. Society is not going to be what its families are not. Society will always be what its families are, because families are what makes society. In fact, even the church is going to be affected, because the church is a collection of families that come together and say, okay, we are going to have this church. So if those families are disoriented, certainly even the church, not just society, but even the church is going to be disoriented. So it is important, especially for parents and guardians, to ensure that the family values, the family values are strongly grounded. That members of that family, inculcate those family values that we always talk about, in order for that family eventually to be a responsible family, as we are calling it. So, are we raising or are we not? Guardians and parents can respond, but let me say we should raise responsible families, because the family is what makes society, is what makes a compound. It is what makes the church. Very important.
Well, thank you so much, Father, for sharing with us, for enriching us with the word. I believe we've been blessed, we've been touched, we've been nourished. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
It is always great to be here and share with our viewers and with General and Alice. Yeah, we shall be back again.
Yes.
Yes. Well, that was Father Arthur enriching us with the food for the soul. For now, we go on a break. We'll be right back.
Month of November, Lumen TV will be having masses every day, praying for all our departed brothers and sisters, those that we knew in our own families, those that we worked with, those that were our friends, or those that we're able to remember. We'll be having masses every day until the end of November. If you would like to dedicate any day in November to praying for specific people in your life, it would be a brother, a sister, a parent, a friend, or anybody that would like to pray for, you can get in touch with us so that we dedicate that particular mass to those people that you wish to pray for. The numbers that you see on the screen, you can use them to get in touch with us over this. You can send a text message using the same numbers. of those people that you would like us to pray for on that particular day. You can even indicate a date when you want us to offer that mass for them. You can send 2, 3, 5 names, it doesn't matter. We'll be very glad to pray for them. You can use the same numbers to send your stipend. As you send those names, any amount attached to that mass that we're going to offer for those, your beloved ones, will be welcome. There's no limit, there's no maximum, there's no minimum. Any amount is going to be welcome as your stipend, praying for those departed brothers and sisters in your life. We'll be very glad to pray for them at Lumen TV.
Welcome back. Right about now, we've just been joined by Mr. Munyati. I'll allow him to introduce himself. Mr. Munyati, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yes. Kindly share with the viewers your full names, please.
Okay, so my name is Munyati Ignatius.
Okay.
Coming from Professional Private Security Officers Union of Zambia, a union which was registered in 2021, that is 22nd October.
Okay, all right. To begin with, Mr. Munyati, before we talk about the industry, give us a brief background of your union.
Like I said, we are registered on 22nd October 2021. So the union is registered by the Ministry of Labor. As you are aware, the union is actually an act of parliament. So we are guided by Cap 269 of the Industrial and Labor Relations Act. Yeah. So having worked with other 3 unions in the industry, I personally felt that there is something that we are not doing as a union. And if you are not the driver, it will just be, eating you up. So with the other colleagues that I thought we can work together, we decided to start another union and called it Professional Private Security Officers Union of Zambia, just to send a message that the security officers, or rather the security guards, are professionals. Yeah. So in October 2024, which is this year, we celebrated our 3rd anniversary, which was at of course, it was at 2 venues, 4 Pillars Lodge, as well as in Chadley, where I think many people came from different media houses. And those who came were asking questions. Is it true that we even have a union in the security industry? So we had to explain.
Okay.
So basically, I think we are a union which is 3 years old in the security industry. But I think what we have done, a lot of people are able to see now that I think we have a union in the security industry.
Okay. So, Mr. Munyati, many people have been wondering as to why employees in the security sector are suffering when there are unions. But before you answer this question, are the people in the security sector really suffering? What do you mean by they are suffering? Are their salaries low, or they're just okay? And as a union, what are you doing to help that the salaries are increased?
So maybe before I answer the question, let me explain that, like I was saying, the reason for the formation of this particular union was after realizing that the unions which were there were not listening to the ideas that we are bringing. Yeah. So for me, I took it so personal because I don't know if it is okay for me to share, but I think I started, a trade union from a group that I belong to in the Catholic Church, which is called Christian Life Community, or rather CLC.
Okay.
So when we are doing our inductions, meeting 3 is a part where we talk about mission. So I was asked, what do you think is your mission? So when I was doing my discernment, I realized that, in the industry where I am, things are not okay. Employees were dismissed without anyone representing them. When you go for collective bargaining, the leaders who were there, I felt that they were not representing the workers, but rather they were representing themselves.
Okay.
So to answer your question, the employees in the security industry are suffering because most of them are below even what we are calling the minimum wage. So like I said, I'm a member of CLC, which is, we collaborate with the Jesuits. And I think you know about, these things that the Jesuits do together with the other collaborators. So when we talk about even the food basket, even the minimum wage for the security, which is at 2,316 kwacha, it is still far, far below the living standards. Yeah. So anyone who is getting below, the food basket is suffering. Then what about the one who is put at 2,300? But then, even when there is this law, there is what they are calling the ability to pay. So we have a lot of problems in the security industry because there is no law which, deters those who have started companies from doing the right thing. So a person who starts a security company and maybe is charging 1,500, is paying 1,000 kwacha. And government has allowed this. Okay, this is the reason why when we have come on board as professional private security officers Union of Zambia, our emphasis is on government to come on board and regulate the security industry. So once that is done, the sufferings in the security industry will be gone.
Okay, if you are talking about the suffering in general, you mean as in the minimum wage that the security guards are getting, or maybe you're talking about is it the working conditions of these security guards? What do I mean when I say the working conditions? Do these guys do they work longer hours, as they say?
If you, like in Zambia, or maybe even other countries, a normal person, am I right to say normal person? A person should work for 8 hours. Okay?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because a person needs to rest. But in the security industry, employees work for 12 hours. So here's a person who is working for 12 hours and is paid below those who are working 8 hours. So really, the conditions are bad. Then in the security industry, we have a lot of supervisors, managers. I don't know what has happened. So a person is working, but he knows that tomorrow he may not be there because the workers themselves are not respected. Supervisors, managers, charging employees, subjecting them to tribunals, even over petty issues, is what has actually killed this industry. So the employees are not respected. And maybe the reason is that the unions that we've had maybe were used to agreeing to anything. Okay, as long as the manager says, okay, this person was wrong, without even getting the details or to listen from the employees themselves, they'll just go there and agree to anything. So workers are being dismissed, were being dismissed, and are still being dismissed, more especially in companies where there is no union. Okay. So there are a lot of companies, like in our case, we have 22 recognition agreements, meaning we are in partnership with 22 companies. But here in Zambia, we have more than, if you go to Pakra, we have more than 1,000 companies. So these briefcase companies and other companies that are charging below are the ones that are actually killing the industry. So personally, I will not blame companies that, I would call them the big guys, okay? Maybe just to mention a few, we talk of G4S, we talk of Omega, Presecure, maybe Gada World, and these others, okay? This time, I think we even have the one under ZRNS, okay? So I'll put them also on the what I'm calling the bigger companies, because I think like the recent one, which is under ZNS, I know that they are paying above the minimum wage. Then the ones I've mentioned, like for instance, starting January, I'm aware that for Omega, no one will be paid below the minimum wage. And then G4S is also moving somewhere there. So we have companies that are paying even 1,000. Okay. I don't want to mention names, but we have companies that are paying 1,000. And for me, what pains me most is these clients, because it's a tripartite, okay, where there's the client, the employer, and the employees. So these three, I think all of them should have the heart of another person, because here is a client who goes to a smaller company which is charging 1,500, and the employee is getting 1,000. You think that person will be happy, is working and is getting, those amounts. But then the reason why I don't want to blame the big guys is, though I was on another radio where I said a security guard has 2 eyes, 2 hands, 2 legs, working for this company, which is company A. You have another one for company B, the same, 2. And then this company is charging 4,000, and then they are able to pay the 2,316 kwacha, which is the current minimum wage. You have another one which is charging 1,500, and they are paying 1,000. So this client will think, why should I get a company which is charging more when there is the one which is cheaper? And this is where we are emphasizing that for as long as government doesn't come in to regulate the industry, the employees will continue suffering. So as a union, we can go to a certain extent, but I think government has a larger, chunk or greater load to pray. And the current government is on record of having promised the security employees that we are going to make you happy. When they were doing their campaigns, hey, we'll make you happy. You guys, we know the sufferings that you are going through as security guards. So they've been around and they haven't done it. So without fear or favor, when that time comes, I don't think as a labor movement it would be wrong to tell people that this government deceived us. So what we are saying is the current government has chance to make things right. When you go to South Africa, you go to Botswana, you go to Kenya, you go to Rwanda, these countries have regulated the industry. Somebody will even say, oh, sweetheart, I'm going for work. I work for G4S, I work for Omega. But here in Zambia, my sister, these guards, they have to get the uniforms, pack them in the bag as they go for work. The reason is what they are paying them is what is supposed to be changed when you go to buy, items in ShopRite or Pick and Pay. So what we are saying is for as long as government does not step up to regulate the industry, so there is a statutory body which is going to control how things are done. If I was in a good mood, I would have said today in Zambia, even a mad person will just wake up and say, I'm starting a company. And people will be there, fellow mad guys will go and be employed. They are paid pathetic salaries. There are companies who are paying even below 1,000. We have not gone there. And when we want to go there, these employers are running away from us. Yeah. So the union is supposed to work with the government of the day, which I think we are doing. There are certain things that the current government has done. But if this particular one is not done, they will not be our friends. Because they would have let us down like the previous 3 governments. There was UNIP, there was the one which followed, there was MMD, there was PF. The 3 failed the security industry, meaning that they've not respected the security industry. If the 4th one, which is UPND, fails also to regulate the industry so that there are laws. For instance, if you don't have 5,000 kwacha, why should you hire a security company so that people are paid 1,000 for what? So if you don't have a 4,000, 5,000, then let your wife start guarding at 18 hours, knocks off at 22, the firstborn, fed until it is in the morning. Why should you get somebody's child and you put them there to work? They are in their homes in the night, watching my DSTV channel, enjoying life. Their friends are outside, and then they pay them 1,000, 1,500. For me, even a 2,000 is nothing. So this is, I think, what we are advocating for. So far, I think we are moving the right direction because we have companies that are now paying even above the minimum wage. But government should come in. If they fail we will tell our members that these guys have deceived us, so they have time.
Okay, Mr. Mnyati, just to ask you something. We've talked about the salaries. Is your union making efforts to see the safety of these security guards? You know, they risk their lives because probably you'd go and guard a house or a complex. You enter maybe, let me say, 18 hours. Your shift is 18 to 06. You have different people that come through, robbers. Are you actually working as a union to see that those guards are safe? Or you're just talking about the salaries?
So there's a document we call the collective bargaining. And if you look at that document, it spells out a lot of things to do with the entry point, how interviews are supposed to be conducted, which people are supposed to be employed. And then it talks about the contracts. Then it talks about now the general conditions. For instance, if this guard was to die, how is the family going to be paid? Okay. We talk about the working hours. Okay. We talk about the others, they call it pension, gratuity, in an event of a redundancy. So all these are spelled out. There's also the disciplinary code where, according to your offense, how are you supposed to be treated? Though some people exaggerate it, as I was saying, where supervisors are more interested in punishing people, dismissing, instead of helping to change so that they keep those that they have. Because retention is very, very important. They may end up employing somebody who is worse than the one they have dismissed. So sometimes they don't think about that. Then there's also the part of the safety. So in the collective agreement, it spells out how many uniforms the person is supposed to have. Those who are working in the nights, are they supposed to have these, like the torches, the security torches, then the clothing in the night. It should be different from the one that they. So for those that we are in partnership with, they are spelled out. And if a company is not doing that, because the employees themselves are also whistleblowers. So if they don't inform us, we will not know. Okay. Like for instance, as union, we work from 8 to 17 hours. Yes, there are times when we do random checks to go to these various locations and see what is happening, but we can't manage to be everywhere. So this is where I want to call upon the employees themselves, those who are affected. Let them come to our office and say that this is the conditions we are working in. We've heard of people being killed in the night. Why? Maybe because of safety measures which have not taken place. So we are there as a union to check what is happening. But maybe because people would just say, do we really have a union in the security industry? Because of maybe the past experience. But what we are saying is we have offered ourselves as a union that has been in existence for 3 years. Let people come. Okay. Let me also take this opportunity and talk about the other good things that government has done to do with, like, for instance, the partial withdrawal. Employees in the security industry have gone to NAPSA and they are told your company has not been remitting. So a person is deducted, but the company doesn't remit. So those are some of the things that the employees themselves should be informing us. This is the problem. And then working together with NAPSA, we should be able to do one or two things.
Mr. Mnyati, just your last words to the viewers out there.
So maybe I'll start with my fellow leaders. We are the 4 of us unions and 4 general secretaries who are the drivers or the chief executives. Firstly, trade unionism should be taken as as a calling, as a vocation. If you take it as a vocation, when employees are injured, it will also pain you. So for me, because like I said, I started from my group, then I say I want to work for God, and I took justice and peace as my personal mission. So it will pain me if I'm not doing the right thing. Okay. So if all of us were to take trade unionism as a vocation, we should be able to work for the industry, because things are bad. And the blame is not on the employers. I think as the unions, we are also to blame, because instead of representing the workers, we are there representing ourselves, building, buying cars, those that can manage marrying more wives and stuff like that. But if we take it as, a calling, then we listen to what God is saying, because God will not come from heaven to come and represent these workers who are suffering. So today we are talking government. If you don't do this, this is how we are going to do it. If you tell a politician that if you don't regulate the industry, then we tell the more than 50,000 or even up to 100,000 employees together with their families, we tell them not to vote. Somebody will be afraid. It only takes a Christian to say this, because you know that if it was in other countries, they will even follow you. You are just leaving the studio, somebody say, hey, what were you saying? But so we are saying this because we are not afraid of anyone, because we know that God will not come from heaven to come and work. So the industry is suffering because of us, the leaders. So I'm inviting all the friends that we take trade unionism as a calling. And then to the workers themselves. Like Mkanyangana, when you look at me, do I look like a witch doctor?
Well, Mr. William, I wish we can actually go on.
So these workers themselves should be able to tell us the problems that they have. We can't dream. That is the point.
All right. Well, Mr. Mnyati, thank you so much for coming through and sharing this information. It's been a pleasure having you on Lumen Morning Diary. Thank you. For now, we go on a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You are watching Lumen Morning Diary. Generally, they say what goes up must come down.
Yeah, and it's sad. I always feel sad to say our goodbyes. I feel like we can talk and talk and talk, educate the viewers, tell them about what's happening in the community. It's sad to say goodbye.
Especially when the information keeps on flowing and flowing and flowing. It has been an awesome journey, I must say. We started with what's trending, and of course we also had the newspaper picks.
We also had Father Arthur, who shared with us the food for the soul, and we had our two guests that actually explained about illicit alcohol and the chiefs, the security union.
Yes, we actually have learned a lot, I must say, today, especially from the fact that today we were looking at raising responsible families, a connection to the topic that we had last week, which was raising responsible youths. Today we just wanted to highlight more, because they say charity begins at home. So it was about families. It's a question: are we raising responsible families? We can still interact with you, our dear viewers. You can share your views every time we have Lumen Morning Diary. Tell us what you want to see. Tell us what you want to hear. We want to interact. And thanks to everyone that is watching us countrywide, from Solwezi, Lundazi,
Ushangombo, Kukitwe. I'm so excited to know that we're everywhere.
Yes.
It's really exciting that at least now I'm sure hapa no metola kwa tanama trenzale chitika kusorwezi tukala mfa kwa file chitika kushangombo tukala mfa kwa file chitika Livingstone.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
Remember, Lumen TV is on Top Star Channel 101, and you can also follow us on our Facebook page, which is Lumen TV. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are also on TikTok. You can follow us. From Genera and I, it's bye-bye.